Have you ever wondered what life would feel like if you stopped reacting to every little thing? What if the secret to inner peace lies not in what happens to us, but in how we respond to it? Let's begin a journey where every pause becomes power, and every calm breath a new beginning. How often do you find yourself reacting on impulse, snapping in frustration, getting overwhelmed by criticism, or letting your emotions take the wheel? It's a deeply human response. We react, we feel, but sometimes that very reaction becomes the root of our suffering. The Buddha once shared a timeless truth. You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger. Imagine carrying that anger with you all day, burning silently within, clouding your thoughts, straining your relationships. Now imagine something different, facing that same situation with calm, clarity, and control. No outbursts, no regrets, just awareness. Welcome to this exploration of the power of non-reactivity, a Buddhist path toward emotional freedom and mental mastery. Reacting to everything that happens around us can be exhausting. It drains our energy, clouds our judgment, and often leads to actions we later regret. But when we learn to take a breath, pause, and respond with intention rather than impulse, we begin to shift our reality. We regain control over our lives and make choices that reflect who we truly are, not who we are in a moment of anger or fear. Buddhism teaches that peace is not found in external circumstances, but within. And to cultivate that inner peace, we must first master our minds. The practice of not reacting isn't about suppressing emotion, it's about understanding it, holding space for it, and choosing how we let it shape our actions. As we deepen our understanding of this teaching, we build emotional resilience. We learn to remain centered in chaos, grounded in moments of tension, and kind in moments of conflict. With this strength, our relationships improve, our decisions become wiser, and our sense of fulfillment grows stronger. In this video, we'll dive deeper into how Buddhism helps us stop reacting impulsively. We'll unpack why this matters, the long-term benefits it brings to our well-being and personal growth, and practical ways to bring this mindset into your daily life. By the end, you'll be equipped with essential tools to transform your emotional responses and cultivate a peaceful, more balanced life. You'll see how even the smallest shift in awareness can lead to powerful change. So, what exactly are the benefits of not reacting? And how do they shape our decisions, relationships, and inner world? Previously, we explored how pausing before reacting gives us the chance to choose responses that align with our inner peace. Now let's look closer at why this practice leads to better decisions, healthier relationships, and a calmer mind. When we give ourselves even a few moments to pause, we grant something incredibly powerful. Time to breathe, time to reflect, time to collect all the necessary information before choosing how to respond. Instead of acting from emotion, we act with intention. This intentional space allows us to weigh our options more clearly, see the bigger picture, and make thoughtful decisions that are wise, compassionate, and far less likely to lead to regret. This deliberate way of living doesn't just improve the outcome of one moment, it shapes the course of our lives. With every mindful choice, we are building a path that supports our long-term well-being and inner clarity. When we reflect before reacting, we begin to live with greater awareness and purpose. Now let's talk about relationships. How many misunderstandings, arguments, or hurtful words have stemmed from quick, emotional reactions? It happens to us all. A sharp word said in anger, a cold shoulder in frustration. These moments, though fleeting, can create lasting damage in our relationships. But here's the good news. We can change that. When we learn to pause, to breathe, and to listen, really listen, we give empathy a chance to step in. This pause gives us space to understand where the other person is coming from. Instead of reacting to the surface of the moment, we respond from a place of compassion. This mindful approach softens tension and opens the door to honest, respectful communication. In time, it nurtures deeper bonds and creates a foundation of trust. Instead of feeding conflict, we cultivate connection. Instead of building walls, we build bridges. Choosing not to react impulsively becomes an act of love, both toward ourselves and those we care about. And what about stress? Impulsive reactions are often fueled by intense emotions, anger, fear, anxiety, and those emotions can quickly flood our body. Our hearts race, our muscles tense, and our thoughts spin out of control. The stress doesn't just stay in the moment. It lingers in our bodies and minds, affecting our health, focus, and mood. By resisting the urge to react instantly, we interrupt this cycle. We create space to calm ourselves, allowing our nervous system to reset. With a clearer, more grounded mind, we can handle challenges without being consumed by them. Over time, this practice becomes a powerful tool for emotional resilience and well-being. So how can we begin to cultivate the skill of non-reactivity? One of the most important first steps is finding our emotional roots. Often, our reactions are not just about the current moment. They are shaped by deeper, unresolved emotions, old wounds, hidden fears, or long-buried pain. These internal triggers lie beneath the surface, silently influencing how we respond to the world. When we lash out or withdraw without understanding why, it's usually not about what just happened. It's about what's been living inside us. That's why identifying the root of our emotions is essential. When we begin to question, why am I really feeling this way? Or where does this reaction come from? We unlock self-awareness, and with self-awareness comes choice. Buddhism offers a profound image. Just as a tree with strong roots does not fall in a storm, a person who understands the roots of their emotions can withstand life's challenges with calm and strength. When we cultivate this deeper understanding, we no longer live at the mercy of every passing emotion. We learn to respond from wisdom instead of instinct. We become steady, like the tree, grounded, resilient, unshaken. Now that we've discovered how understanding the root of our emotions keeps us grounded like a deep-rooted tree, let's explore the practical steps to begin this inner journey toward clarity, composure, and emotional freedom. Understanding your emotions at their core doesn't just help you manage your internal world, it transforms how you interact with the world around you. When you respond from a place of awareness rather than reaction, your relationships improve, your mind becomes more peaceful, and your life begins to feel more balanced. But how exactly do we find those emotional roots? Here are some practical, powerful steps you can take. 1. Self-reflection. Take time each day, just a few quiet minutes, to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, why did I feel that way in that moment? What was I really reacting to? Could this feeling be connected to a past experience? This simple act of asking honest questions can begin to uncover emotional patterns and hidden triggers that you weren't aware of before. Over time, daily reflection becomes a mirror for your inner world, helping you see more clearly what drives your emotional responses. 2. Journaling. Sometimes our thoughts swirl so fast in our heads that we can't fully grasp them until we write them down. Keeping a journal allows you to track your feelings, reactions, and the situations that trigger strong emotions. Write regularly. Note what happened, how you felt, and why you think that feeling arose. Look for patterns. Are there recurring themes or specific people, places, or memories that stir certain emotions? Your journal becomes a roadmap, helping you trace your emotional journey and understand the underlying causes that influence your behavior. 3. Meditation. Mindfulness. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools for observing your thoughts without judgment. It teaches you to simply notice, to sit with your feelings instead of pushing them away or reacting to them. With practice, meditation creates an inner stillness where awareness deepens. You begin to recognize emotions as passing clouds rather than storms you must get swept up in. Through regular meditation, you cultivate the ability to respond to life with wisdom instead of reflex, peace instead of panic. By committing to these practices, reflection, journaling, and meditation, you begin to gently unravel the complex threads of emotional habits that once controlled your reactions. You take back your power. This process isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about embracing them with curiosity and courage, so you can act from a place of clarity and strength. Think of it like this. When you understand the story behind your emotions, you no longer fear them. You learn to listen before you respond. You become more stable, more present, more yourself. Of course, this journey takes time. It's not instant, but the reward, a calm mind, emotional balance, and a more peaceful life, is more than worth the effort. Now let's take a deeper look at one of the biggest emotional blockages we often carry without realizing it: resentment. Resentment is like a fog over the mind. It clouds your thoughts, blurs your judgment, and distorts how you see others. Even the smallest comments or actions can trigger sharp reactions when resentment is quietly simmering beneath the surface. Unresolved resentment can become a hidden poison in our daily lives, seeping into our conversations, decisions, and relationships. Often, we may not even be aware of how much we're holding on to. Maybe it's a past hurt, an old injustice, or a feeling that someone wronged us and never apologized. Whatever the source, that bitterness doesn't just stay in the past, it influences how we act today. The first step toward healing is to acknowledge it. Ask yourself gently, is there anything I'm still holding on to? What's the real story behind this pain? Once we recognize the source, we begin to release its hold on us. Buddhism captures this truth with deep insight. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It's a reminder that when we cling to resentment, we're the ones who suffer most. So, how do we release this poison? In the last section, we uncovered how resentment, if left unaddressed, can quietly poison our emotional world. Now, let's take the next step, learning how to release that burden and reclaim our inner peace. Resentment is a heavy weight we carry, often without realizing just how much it costs us. When we hold on to anger and grudges, we're not punishing those who hurt us. We're punishing ourselves. It's like swallowing poison and hoping the other person gets sick, while it slowly eats away at our own peace from within. Letting go of resentment doesn't mean forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. It means we choose not to carry the emotional pain anymore. We release ourselves from the invisible chains of bitterness and give our hearts space to breathe again. Only when we set down this burden can we move forward with clarity and strength. When our minds are free from the fog of resentment, we see things more clearly. We're no longer reacting from a place of pain, but responding from a place of balance. This mental clarity is essential, not only for our emotional stability, but for our personal growth. It helps us make better decisions, communicate more compassionately, and experience life with greater ease and understanding. So, how can we begin this process of release? Here are a few practical steps to help you identify and let go of resentment. 1. Identify your triggers. Start by observing what stirs up those old, bitter feelings. Keep a journal or simple note where you record situations, people, or words that provoke resentment. Ask yourself, what exactly made me feel this way? Is this a pattern I've felt before? Often, you'll find that recurring themes point to unresolved pain or unmet needs from the past. When you bring these patterns to light, you gain the power to start breaking them. 2. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean you approve of the wrong that was done. It means you're choosing to release its grip on your heart. You can try visualizing the act of letting go, imagining the resentment as a dark cloud floating away. Another method is writing a letter to the person who hurt you, expressing everything you've held inside. You don't need to send it. The act of writing can be deeply healing, giving shape to emotions that have long remained silent. 3. Open, honest conversations. Sometimes resentment lingers because certain words were never spoken. When possible, try having an open conversation with the person involved. Speak calmly, from the heart. Express how you feel and why. Even if the other person doesn't respond the way you hoped, the simple act of speaking your truth can be liberating. It's not always about resolving the conflict. It's about releasing the emotion that's been trapped inside you. Following these steps can help dismantle the walls resentment builds between us and the people we love. This journey takes time, patience, and deep self-compassion. But with each step, you'll feel lighter, clearer, and more in control of your inner world. Letting go of resentment is one of the most freeing acts we can offer ourselves. It allows us to live with a calm mind, balanced emotions, and an open heart. When we are no longer held hostage by old pain, we step into the present moment fully alive and awake. Now, let's explore one more essential tool in mastering our emotional responses: learning to name our emotions. So often we feel overwhelmed, but we don't quite know why. We react before we even understand what we're reacting to. That's because emotions left unnamed can spiral, growing louder and more chaotic until they take control of our actions. But what happens when we give those emotions a name? In the last section, we explored how releasing resentment creates space for clarity and peace. Now, let's go one step deeper by learning to identify and name our emotions as they arise. When we learn to recognize our emotions with clarity, we unlock a new level of self-understanding. Naming what we feel gives us a kind of emotional map, one that helps us navigate inner storms with greater ease and direction. Instead of being swept away by confusion or frustration, we gain insight. We can take a step back, observe our feelings more objectively, and choose how to respond. This process is powerful. Why? Because when we know what we're really dealing with, we stop guessing. We stop reacting blindly. We become more thoughtful, more in control. the intensity of our emotions starts to soften, not because we ignore them, but because we see them clearly for what they are. Buddhism offers a profound insight on this. In the recognition of feelings, there is understanding. These simple words carry great wisdom. When we acknowledge what we feel, without denial or judgment, we open the door to understanding not just the feeling itself, but also where it comes from and what it's trying to tell us. This act of emotional recognition strengthens our awareness and compassion. It allows us to process emotions in a healthier way, so they don't explode outward in anger or silently fester into inner turmoil. Instead, we stay steady, balanced, in tune with our emotional rhythm. Developing this emotional clarity is a cornerstone of emotional intelligence. It improves how we communicate with others, how we handle stress, and how we make decisions, especially in moments that test our patience or push our limits. Here are a few practical steps to help you build the skill of naming and managing your emotions. 1. Expand your emotional vocabulary. Often, we default to vague terms like bad or sad, but emotional experiences are much richer than that. Are you feeling frustrated or disappointed, nervous or overwhelmed, lonely or unseen? Each feeling carries a different message and needs a different kind of care. The more specific your vocabulary, the better your self-awareness. When you can name what you feel precisely, you can start to understand what it means and what it needs. 2. Practice mindful check-ins. Take a few minutes each day to pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Did something trigger this emotion? This habit, done in stillness or during a quiet walk, helps you stay connected to your inner world. It prevents emotional buildup and trains your mind to notice subtle shifts before they turn into storms. 3. Verbalize or journal your feelings. There's something almost magical about putting feelings into words. Whether you speak them out loud to a trusted friend, share them with a therapist, or write them down in a private journal, this process brings clarity. When emotions are swirling inside us, they can feel abstract, overwhelming, or even unidentifiable. But when we express them clearly, they become tangible, something we can observe, understand, and gradually release. Even a simple sentence like, "I feel overwhelmed because I'm trying to please everyone," can bring a sense of relief and offer a starting point for change. By incorporating these practices into your daily routine, you train your mind to engage with emotions in a conscious and constructive way. Naming your feelings gives you power, not power over the emotion, but power within it. You no longer run from what you feel, you face it, you learn from it. This habit doesn't just make you emotionally intelligent, it makes you emotionally resilient. When you embrace the skill of emotional identification, you're better equipped to handle life's highs and lows with calm, courage, and confidence. You become someone who no longer fears emotions, but respects and learns from them. And as you continue this journey toward mindfulness and balance, there's one more critical piece to explore: the role of time in our reactions. Next, we'll uncover how the brain's chemical countdown affects our impulse to react, and how just a few seconds of pause can make all the difference. Previously, we explored the importance of naming our emotions, a powerful way to gain insight and emotional control. Now let's take the next step, learning how to pause in the heat of the moment and break free from impulsive reactions. We've all been there, saying something we didn't mean, acting out of frustration, or making a quick decision we later regret. These knee-jerk reactions often arise in a split second before we've had a chance to think. They can damage relationships, derail progress, and flood our minds with stress and self-blame. Breaking free from this cycle is essential, and it starts with something surprisingly simple: a countdown. When you feel the heat rising, anger, fear, panic, or irritation, try counting backward from 5 to 1. It may sound basic, but this technique is incredibly effective. Why? Because it disrupts the automatic response. It creates a gap, a moment, and in that moment, you gain the chance to choose a better response. The act of counting backward engages the thinking part of your brain, shifting you out of emotional reactivity and into conscious control. It's like pressing a mental pause button, giving yourself time to breathe, reflect, and realign. Buddhism offers deep insight into this process. With our thoughts, we make the world. This teaching reminds us that our experiences begin in the mind. If we can manage our thoughts, we can shape our actions. If we can shape our actions, we can shape our world. The countdown technique aligns beautifully with this wisdom. By consciously shifting our thoughts before they spiral, we gain the power to respond with clarity instead of chaos. This mindful control isn't just a tool for self-regulation. It's a path to emotional maturity and resilience. When we pause, when we consciously choose not to act on impulse, we make wiser decisions. We handle stress more gracefully, we speak more kindly, and we strengthen the bonds around us rather than harming them with reactionary words or deeds. Here are some practical ways to build this powerful habit into your daily life. 1. Practice the countdown. Regularly, use the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method in everyday situations, not just during crises. Whether you're stuck in traffic, feeling rushed, or irritated by something small, practice the countdown. The more you use it, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, your brain will start to associate stressful moments with the urge to pause rather than react. 2. Combine it with deep breathing. As you count down, take slow, deep breaths. Breathe in deeply on each number. This not only calms your nervous system, but helps you ground yourself in the present moment. The combination of counting and breathing creates a sense of inner space, a space where you can observe your emotions without becoming them. 3. Set up visual reminders. Sometimes we just need a nudge. Place visual cues around your environment, on your desk, your bathroom mirror, your phone screen. Sticky notes or simple messages like pause and breathe or count down first can serve as gentle prompts to apply the technique in real time. These reminders reinforce the habit, making the pause your default response instead of the impulse. By integrating the chemical countdown into your daily routine, you give yourself a powerful gift: time. Time to think, time to choose, time to respond, not react. This practice may only take a few seconds, but its impact is lasting. It can help you face challenging moments with calm, make more thoughtful decisions, and preserve the peace in both your inner and outer world. Buddhism teaches that control over your mind leads to control over your life, and that control begins in the small space between trigger and response. So what happens when we practice this consistently? Previously, we learned how a simple countdown can help interrupt impulsive reactions and restore emotional control. Now, let's explore what comes next: how to channel the emotions we've learned to pause and observe. As you continue practicing emotional awareness and intentional response, you'll likely notice a shift. You feel more grounded, more resilient, and more graceful in the face of life's ups and downs. But self-mastery doesn't mean suppressing what you feel. In fact, the real magic happens when you learn to channel your emotions in a healthy and purposeful way. Emotions that are bottled up don't just fade away. They build layer by layer, creating invisible tension within us. Over time, this emotional pressure can erupt, manifesting as angry outbursts, irritability, unhealthy coping habits, or even physical symptoms like headaches, muscle tension, or fatigue. Suppressed emotions, when left unexpressed, quietly shape our behaviors in ways we often don't recognize until it's too late. That's why it's so important to release these emotions constructively. Instead of letting feelings fester, we can redirect that emotional energy into something meaningful, something that both soothes our mind and serves our growth. Buddhism offers a powerful teaching. Energy flows where attention goes. This simple yet profound truth reminds us that we hold the power to decide where our emotional energy is spent. We can choose to focus on negativity, or we can consciously guide that energy into healing, creativity, and compassion. By intentionally channeling our feelings, we don't just manage stress better, we transform it. We turn frustration into movement. We turn sadness into song. We turn inner tension into outer kindness. Here are some practical and effective ways to help you channel your emotions in a healthy, life-enhancing way. 1. Creative outlets. Give your emotions a voice. Through art, writing, music, or any form of creative expression. When you draw, paint, journal, write poetry, or play an instrument, you create a safe space for your inner world to come out. These expressions don't need to be perfect. They just need to be honest. Creative activities allow you to externalize your emotions, making them easier to understand, process, and eventually release. And often, in the process, you create something beautiful from something difficult. 2. Physical movement. Sometimes, the best way to release emotion is to move. Exercise is not just for physical health, it's emotional therapy too. Whether you run, walk, stretch, dance, or do yoga, movement helps discharge built-up energy and brings your nervous system back to balance. As you move, your body releases endorphins, natural chemicals that boost your mood and reduce stress. Even a 10-minute walk in nature can shift your emotional state, helping you feel lighter and more grounded. 3. Acts of kindness and service. Emotions can also be transformed into compassion. When you're feeling overwhelmed, try channeling that energy into helping someone else. Support a friend, volunteer your time, offer a smile to a stranger. Turning your focus outward not only lifts your own mood, it builds a sense of purpose and connection. When we serve others, we are reminded that we're not alone. We become part of something greater than our momentary struggle. By integrating these practices into your daily routine, you build a sustainable way of managing emotions, not by suppressing them, but by redirecting them. These simple acts give you an outlet for your emotional energy, while also enriching your life with creativity, movement, and meaning. This process is not just about feeling better, it's about growing stronger. It's about transforming emotional tension into personal power. And the more you practice, the more naturally it flows. Previously, we discovered the power of channeling emotions into creative, physical, and compassionate actions. Now, let's explore how managing stress, the invisible thread tying many emotional struggles together, can bring us closer to balance and clarity. When you learn to channel your emotions into positive and fulfilling activities, you're not just managing feelings, you're transforming your life. This practice builds emotional resilience, strengthens your sense of purpose, and nurtures a deeper connection to the world around you. You become more creative, more centered, and more in tune with your true self. But to keep this process sustainable, there's one essential skill we must cultivate: managing stress. Why? Because high stress levels act like a fog over our emotional control. When we're overwhelmed, even small triggers can send us spiraling into impulsive reactions. It becomes harder to think clearly, harder to pause, and much harder to choose our responses wisely. Stress doesn't just affect our mood, it compromises our emotional foundation. Without proactive strategies to manage stress, we remain stuck in survival mode, reacting instead of responding, and carrying tension that gradually wears us down. Buddhism teaches, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This insight reminds us that the calm we're searching for isn't found in changing the world around us. It's found by creating stillness inside. When we care for our internal state, everything else begins to shift. So how can we start building that inner peace? Here are a few powerful, practical ways to manage stress and restore emotional stability. 1. Practice daily meditation. Even just a few minutes of quiet meditation each day can create profound changes. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Let your thoughts come and go without judgment. This simple act of being still helps calm the nervous system, regulate emotions, and cultivate mental clarity. Over time, meditation becomes a safe space, a reset button you can return to anytime life feels overwhelming. 2. Stay physically active. Exercise is one of the most effective natural stress relievers. When you move your body, it releases endorphins, chemicals that boost your mood and reduce tension. Find a routine that fits you, whether it's walking, jogging, yoga, dancing, or even stretching. Consistency is more important than intensity. When physical movement becomes a habit, your stress levels begin to drop and your emotional balance improves. 3. Practice mindfulness. Throughout the day. Mindfulness doesn't have to be complicated. It's simply the practice of being fully present, aware of your thoughts, your body, your breath, and your surroundings. Throughout the day, pause to check in with yourself. Notice how you're feeling. Take a deep breath. Look at the sky. Feel your feet on the ground. These small moments of presence create pockets of peace and keep you grounded, even in chaos. By incorporating these habits into your life, you'll notice a shift. You'll begin to respond to challenges with more clarity and calm. Your emotions will feel more stable, and your overall sense of well-being will grow. But there's one more powerful shift you can make, one that truly changes the game: taking ownership of your emotions. It's tempting to blame others when we feel angry, sad, or frustrated, but doing so puts our emotional state in someone else's hands. We surrender control, and along with it, our power to heal. When we take responsibility for our feelings, we regain that power. It's not about denying that external events impact us. It's about recognizing that our response is our choice. That choice is our strength. Buddhism offers a beautiful reminder. You, yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. This truth speaks to the heart of emotional mastery. When we love and respect ourselves, we stop waiting for the world to fix us. we begin to care for our inner world with compassion, patience, and grace. Previously, we learned that taking ownership of our emotions leads to greater self-respect and emotional freedom. Now, let's explore how that inner strength empowers us to become active participants in shaping our emotional reality rather than passive victims of it. The moment you take full responsibility for your emotional state is the moment everything begins to change. It's no longer about what others said or did. It's about how you choose to respond. This powerful shift from blame to ownership frees you from the victim mindset and opens the door to emotional mastery. When you claim your emotions as your own, you stop waiting for someone else to fix them. You realize that strength, resilience, and balance all begin within you. And with that awareness, you become the master of your inner world. So how can we reinforce this mindset of emotional ownership in everyday life? 1. Use positive affirmations. Words are powerful. Repeating affirmations like, "I am in control of my emotions," or "I choose how I react," can help rewire your thought patterns. These simple phrases act as daily reminders that you are not at the mercy of your feelings. You are in charge. Speak them aloud. Write them down. Post them somewhere visible. Over time, they'll become part of your internal dialogue, building a strong foundation of emotional self-reliance. 2. Hold yourself accountable. Accountability doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means being honest about your role in emotional situations. When you feel triggered or upset, ask yourself, what part did I play in this moment? How am I contributing to my emotional response? This self-inquiry shifts your focus from external blame to internal growth. It encourages proactive emotional management and helps you take control rather than feeling out of control. 3. Reflect regularly. Make time each day to reflect on your emotional experiences. Journaling is a powerful tool for this. Write about moments when emotions ran high. What triggered you? How did you react? Was there a pattern? What would you do differently next time? Over time, this practice helps you recognize emotional habits, uncover blind spots, and grow into someone who responds with intention instead of impulse. These simple habits, affirmation, accountability, and reflection may seem small, but they have the power to reshape your entire emotional landscape. The more you practice them, the more you'll notice a shift, a deeper sense of calm, clarity, and confidence in how you handle life's challenges. But emotional ownership is not just about managing our inner world. It's also about knowing when to protect that inner peace by stepping away from environments that drain or damage us. Remove yourself from negative situations. Let's face it, some places, people, and experiences simply bring out the worst in us. Toxic environments are like emotional poison. They agitate our minds, fuel our insecurities, and keep us locked in cycles of stress and negativity. When we stay in these spaces too long, it becomes harder and harder to maintain a peaceful mindset. We start reacting more, caring less, and feeling emotionally depleted. That's why it's essential to recognize and remove yourself from situations that trigger ongoing negativity. This doesn't mean avoiding every challenge or running away from discomfort. It means consciously choosing to protect your mental and emotional health, just as you'd protect your body from physical harm. Buddhism teaches, avoid evil deeds, as a man who loves life avoids poison. This wisdom reminds us that we must steer clear of harmful influences with the same seriousness we reserve for physical danger. Just as poison threatens the body, negativity poisons the mind, and it must be handled with equal care. So how do we take action? Identify your negative triggers. Begin by noticing the people, places, and patterns that drain your energy or stir up distress. Is it a workplace soaked in gossip and tension? A friend who constantly criticizes you? An activity that leaves you anxious or hollow? Track how you feel in different environments. Notice what leaves you energized and what leaves you empty. Establish and enforce boundaries. Once you recognize your triggers, set clear boundaries to protect your peace. You don't have to explain or justify your decisions to everyone. Your mental health is reason enough. Sometimes this means limiting time with certain individuals. Other times, it means stepping away entirely. What matters most is that you honor your emotional space and create room for growth, healing, and joy. In the previous section, we explored how setting boundaries and seeking positive environments protect our emotional well-being. Now, let's look at another essential piece of this journey: finding safe ways to express our emotions before they overwhelm us. Establishing clear boundaries is not just about keeping others out. It's about protecting what's within. When you communicate your limits openly and assertively, you're sending a message: my peace matters. Let people know, kindly but firmly, what is acceptable and what crosses the line. Enforcing boundaries might feel uncomfortable at first. It may stir resistance, confusion, or even guilt. But stay the course, because with each limit you uphold, you create space for emotional safety, a space where you can breathe, grow, and thrive. As you protect your peace, also be intentional about where you spend your energy. Seek out uplifting places and people. Surround yourself with those who inspire, support, and elevate you. Spend time in nature. Reconnect with hobbies that bring you joy. Join communities where encouragement, not criticism, flows freely. These environments nourish your mental and emotional health, like sunlight to a growing plant. By choosing positive spaces and enforcing healthy boundaries, you build a life that supports your emotional balance and resilience. But even with the right environment, emotions still need to move. They need space to be felt and expressed. Opportunities for expression. When emotions are buried, they don't disappear, they simmer. And eventually, they overflow. Suppressed feelings are like a pressure cooker with no release valve. One day, when the tension is too much, they erupt, sometimes in ways we can't control, damaging relationships and disrupting our peace. That's why healthy emotional expression isn't optional, it's essential. Releasing emotions regularly helps prevent sudden outbursts and maintains inner stability. Think of it as emotional housekeeping. Just as we clean our homes to prevent clutter, we must clear emotional buildup to avoid emotional explosions. Buddhism teaches, letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. When we release emotional burdens, we free ourselves from their weight. We no longer carry yesterday's pain into today's peace. That release becomes a pathway to clarity and real happiness. So how can we express our emotions in a healthy, constructive way? 1. Express through creativity. Art, writing, music. These are more than hobbies. They're healing tools. Paint your feelings. Write about your day. Play music that mirrors your mood. These creative outlets allow you to explore and release emotions in a safe, structured way. The canvas, the page, or the melody becomes a mirror to your inner world, reflecting what words alone may not express. 2. Talk to someone you trust. Sometimes, the most healing thing we can do is simply talk. Share your thoughts with a close friend, a family member, or a therapist. Let them know how you're feeling, without filtering or minimizing. The act of being heard brings relief. It offers clarity, and it reminds you that you're not alone in what you feel. 3. Move your body to move your emotions. Physical activity is one of the most effective ways to release built-up emotional energy. Whether it's yoga, running, dancing, or playing sports, movement helps release tension from the body and refreshes the mind. You may start your workout feeling heavy or scattered, but by the end, you'll often find calm and clarity waiting on the other side of motion. By regularly practicing these methods of expression, creativity, conversation, and movement, you'll prevent emotions from becoming bottled up. Instead, you'll process them with grace, and over time, you'll build a life where emotional balance isn't just a goal, it's your natural state. Next, we'll explore how building emotional mastery leads to deeper connection with others, and why your inner calm has the power to ripple outward into every relationship you touch. Earlier, we explored the importance of healthy emotional expression through art, movement, and heartfelt conversations as a way to release tension before it builds. Now, let's explore how one powerful human trait, empathy, can help us respond to others with grace, not reactivity. When we express our emotions constructively, we not only protect our mental health, we create space for deeper joy and lasting well-being. But emotional balance doesn't just depend on how we handle our own feelings. It's also about how we respond to the emotions of others. And this is where empathy becomes our guiding light. A lack of empathy is one of the leading causes of misunderstanding and conflict. When we fail to see things from another person's point of view, it becomes all too easy for disagreements to escalate. A minor miscommunication can spiral into hurt feelings, anger, and emotional distance. Empathy is the bridge that closes that gap. When we make the effort to understand someone else's perspective, everything shifts. We begin to see beyond their words or behavior and into their why they're upset, why they reacted that way, why they need to be heard, not judged. This practice of perspective-taking opens the door to more harmonious interactions and fewer emotional outbursts. Buddhism offers a beautiful reminder of this truth. When you see yourself in others, whom can you harm? This insight speaks to the deep connection between empathy and compassion. When we recognize that we are all human, struggling, growing, and trying to be understood, it becomes harder to respond with anger and easier to respond with patience. Here are a few meaningful ways to build empathy into your daily life. 1. Practice perspective-taking. Make it a daily habit to pause and ask yourself, what might this person be feeling right now? Before you respond to someone, especially in tense situations, take a moment to consider their emotional state. Maybe they're stressed, maybe they're afraid, maybe they're hurting. When you look through their lens, your response becomes less reactive and more compassionate. 2. Listen to, understand, not just to reply. Active listening is one of the most powerful expressions of empathy. It means being fully present, not just hearing words, but feeling the message. When someone is speaking to you, put down distractions, make eye contact, let them finish their thought without interrupting. Ask gentle, clarifying questions to show that you're truly listening. This not only deepens your understanding, it also strengthens trust and emotional connection. 3. Try empathy exercises like role-playing. Engage in simple role-playing activities where you intentionally take on someone else's point of view. This could be in conversations with friends, in a group setting, or even through personal journaling. Imagine, how would I feel in their shoes? These exercises challenge you to step outside your own perspective and feel the world from someone else's emotional experience. Over time, they train your mind to default to understanding rather than judgment. Empathy is not a weakness, it's an emotional superpower. It helps you remain calm when others are triggered. It allows you to hold space for other people's pain without taking it personally. And it creates relationships that are rich with meaning and mutual respect. By incorporating these practices, perspective-taking, active listening, and empathy-building exercises, you not only reduce the chances of emotional conflict, but also build the foundation for more authentic, heart-centered connections. But even with all this emotional growth, there's still one more danger to watch for: the emotional boiling point. That moment when unspoken tension, unmanaged stress, or unresolved hurt finally erupts. Next, we'll dive into how to recognize the signs of reaching your emotional limit and what to do before emotions boil over and cause harm to yourself or those you care about. We explored how empathy helps us respond to others with understanding, but to truly maintain emotional balance, we must also learn to manage our own rising emotions, especially before they reach the boiling point. Have you ever felt emotions building inside like a pressure cooker? Tight in your chest, fast in your breath, foggy in your mind, until something small sends everything spilling over? That's the boiling point. And once we reach it, words can fly, regrets can form, and relationships can suffer. Understanding how intense emotions manifest in your body and mind is key to managing them. Buddhism offers a powerful teaching. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. This ancient wisdom reminds us that unresolved anger and other intense emotions don't just hurt others, they harm us first. They wear down our mental peace, cloud our thinking, and damage our health. That's why early intervention is so important. The sooner you recognize you're nearing your emotional limit, the sooner you can cool down and regain control. Here are several practical steps to help you identify and manage your emotional boiling point. 1. Monitor your emotional state throughout the day. Pay attention to your feelings as they shift. When do you feel irritated, tense, or anxious? Do certain people or situations trigger your stress? Keep a simple journal or a mental log to track these moments. The goal isn't to eliminate emotions, it's to catch them before they take over. Awareness is the first and most essential step toward emotional self-regulation. 2. Use calming techniques at the first sign of escalation. When you notice your emotions beginning to spike, act immediately. Try deep, slow breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Or practice progressive muscle relaxation, gently tensing and then releasing each part of your body. Even a short walk, a change of scenery, or splashing cold water on your face can interrupt the emotional buildup and bring you back to center. Having a few of these techniques ready, like tools in a toolbox, makes a huge difference in how quickly you can respond to stress. 3. Reach out for support. when needed. Sometimes emotions feel too big to handle alone, and that's okay. Don't hesitate to reach out to someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or a mental health professional. Speaking your truth can lighten your emotional load and give you a fresh perspective. Often, just being heard is enough to start the process of calming down. Support from others also introduces new coping ideas and reassures you that you're not alone in what you're feeling. By combining these steps, awareness, calming strategies, and seeking support, you gain the ability to defuse intense emotions before they lead to harmful outbursts. You begin to protect your peace, strengthen your self-control, and maintain more balanced relationships. But what happens when you're in the middle of a stressful moment and your thoughts start spiraling? In those critical seconds, your mind needs an anchor, something steady to hold on to. That's where your personal mantra comes in. Create your mantra. Stressful situations can cause your emotions to flare up quickly. In the heat of the moment, logic can fade and calmness can vanish. A personal mantra is like a lifeline. It helps ground you when everything else feels like too much. A mantra is a simple phrase or sentence that you repeat to yourself. It brings your focus inward and reminds you of what truly matters. Your mantra becomes a mental shield, helping you stay composed and centered during times of emotional pressure. Think of something that soothes and empowers you. For example, I breathe in calm, I breathe out tension. I am in control of my response. This moment will pass. I choose peace. You might draw inspiration from Buddhist wisdom. In the end, only 3 things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. What a beautiful reflection to carry in your heart. Repeat your mantra when you feel triggered, overwhelmed, or emotionally flooded. Over time, it becomes second nature, a powerful reminder that no matter what's happening outside, you can create stillness inside. Next, we'll explore how daily mindfulness practices can strengthen your emotional awareness and help you remain grounded, not just in moments of crisis, but throughout the rhythm of everyday life. Previously, we discovered how a personal mantra can anchor us during emotional storms. Now, let's explore another powerful inner tool, one that's always with us and can instantly shift our emotional state: the breath. Your mantra acts as a steady hand on your shoulder, a soft, grounding reminder to return to calm. When you repeat it often enough, it becomes more than words. It becomes a habit, a mindset, a lifeline. To truly benefit from your mantra, choose one that speaks directly to your heart. It could be something simple, yet deeply personal. I am calm and in control, or this too shall pass. The most effective mantras are the ones that bring a sense of peace and connection to your values. Don't just repeat what sounds nice. Select words that feel true. Once you've chosen your mantra, make it part of your daily rhythm. Start and end each day by repeating it several times, softly, slowly, with intention. This small ritual helps embed the mantra into your subconscious mind, making it more accessible when you need it most. And when stress arises, as it inevitably will, pause. Take a breath. Silently or audibly, return to your mantra. Let the words sink in. Focus not only on repeating them, but on feeling them. Allow their meaning to wash over you like a calming wave, gently easing the intensity of the moment. Over time, your mantra becomes a familiar voice amid chaos, a steady friend when your thoughts are racing. a tool that helps you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. By integrating this practice into your life, by choosing a meaningful phrase, repeating it daily, and using it during difficult moments, you gain a powerful resource for emotional regulation. Simple, yes, but profoundly effective. And now, we turn to one of the most ancient and effective methods for calming the mind: the power of the breath. The power of breath. Stress and anxiety can hijack our nervous system. Our heart races, our thoughts spin, our body tightens. In these moments, emotional control can feel out of reach. But there's one tool that's always available: your breath. Deep, conscious breathing is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to reset your emotional state. When you focus on your breath, you pull your attention away from spiraling thoughts and back into your body, back into the present, back into peace. Buddhism reminds us, feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. This insight beautifully captures the essence of breathwork. Emotions may swirl and shift, but your breath remains steady. When you choose to anchor yourself in it, you ride out the storm rather than being swept away by it. So how can you use the breath to regain calm and clarity? 1. Try the 4-7-8 breathing technique. This method is a gentle, structured way to bring the body into relaxation. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. Then exhale slowly for 8 seconds. Repeat this cycle a few times. This practice slows the heart rate, relaxes the nervous system, and clears mental fog. It's especially helpful during anxiety or emotional overwhelm. 2. Create a daily breath awareness ritual set aside a few minutes each day to focus solely on your breathing. Find a quiet space, sit comfortably, close your eyes, and just observe how the breath enters, how it exits. No need to control it, just witness it. This simple act trains your mind to be present, aware, and calm. It also helps you notice your breathing patterns, tense, shallow, fast, so you can gently guide them back to a more relaxed state. 3. Use breath to respond, not react. The next time you feel stress rising, pause. Before you speak or act, take a deep breath. Let it be a gateway to self-awareness. That one breath can give you the space you need to respond with clarity instead of reacting on impulse. With regular practice, deep breathing becomes a powerful habit. You'll find yourself using it not just during meditation, but in everyday moments, during conversations, while waiting in line, when receiving difficult news. It becomes your natural reset button. Next, we'll explore how all these practices, empathy, breath, mantra, awareness, come together to form emotional mastery, helping you not only manage emotions but live with presence, peace, and purpose. Previously, we explored the power of breath, a simple yet transformative practice to ground ourselves during emotional storms. Now, let's bring everything together and reflect on how daily habits and Buddhist wisdom can help us live with greater calm, clarity, and control. Make deep breathing a natural part of your day, especially before moments that typically bring stress. Start your mornings with it. Pause during work breaks to reset. Practice it before meetings, tough conversations, or big decisions. By doing so, you're not just reacting to stress, you're preparing for it with intention. Integrating conscious breathing into your routine equips you with a powerful tool. It becomes your silent ally, ready and waiting anytime you need to return to stillness. When combined with regular breath awareness, This daily ritual can help you manage stress and anxiety far more effectively. You'll notice greater emotional control, improved mental clarity, and a growing sense of peace, even amid life's chaos. But remember, you don't have to walk this path alone. Seek support when you need it. Reaching out for support is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. When emotions feel overwhelming, talk to someone, a friend, a family member, a professional therapist. Opening up can bring unexpected comfort, insight, and healing. It allows you to process what you're feeling and discover new strategies for emotional balance. Support helps shift your mindset from isolation to connection and from reaction to reflection. The science of emotional regulation. It helps to understand what's happening inside your body when emotions run high. When you feel intense emotions like fear or anger, your body releases stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These chemicals trigger your fight or flight response, which often leads to impulsive decisions. But you are not at the mercy of your biology. By practicing emotional regulation techniques like meditation, deep breathing, and mindfulness, you engage the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for thoughtful decision-making and self-control. Science backs what Buddhism has taught for centuries. You can train your mind to respond, not react. How to practice calmness. Wisdom from the Buddha. 1. Be mindful. Stay present. Observe your emotions without jumping to act. This pause allows space for reflection and a more skillful response. 2. Meditate regularly. Dedicate time each day to quiet meditation. This strengthens your inner peace and helps you stay calm even in moments of tension. 3. Think before speaking. Let your words pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Mindful communication prevents regret and builds healthier connections. 4. Practice compassion. Empathy and compassion soften emotional reactions. When you see others with understanding, you create harmony, not conflict. As we close this journey on mastering your emotions, let's reflect on what we've explored. From the science of emotional triggers to the wisdom of the Buddha, from daily mindfulness habits to grounding breathwork, from affirmations and boundaries to deep empathy and conscious responses, each step is a tool to help you live with more clarity and inner strength. Buddhism teaches, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. In this moment, right now, you have the power to choose peace, to respond with wisdom, to pause, breathe, and live with intention. Everything you've learned here is not just knowledge, it's a path, a living, breathing journey that unfolds through daily practice. So take the first small step today. Reflect before you react. Name your emotions with honesty. Use your breath as an anchor. Repeat your mantra when stress rises. Lean on your support system. Embrace each moment as an opportunity to grow. Remember, you're not striving for perfection. You're embracing progress. Every effort you make brings you closer to emotional mastery and a more peaceful, fulfilling life. In a noisy, reactive world, your calmness becomes your strength. Your stillness becomes your superpower. And your choice to respond with compassion shapes not just your life, but the lives of those around you. If this video has inspired you or brought even a moment of clarity, we invite you to like, share, and subscribe to Buddhism Seeds. Leave us a comment below. What practice are you excited to try first? Let's continue walking this path together, supporting one another with mindful moments, meaningful conversations, and shared growth. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time, may you find peace in each breath and wisdom in each step.